China is a nation with a rich sporting history. Just look at how well they do at the Olympic Games. However, one particular sport the Chinese are not particularly known for, or good at, is the game we all know as football. Yes, that's right, there are over 1 billion people in China, but not one of the native Chinese can actually play the sport to a high level. Because of this, Chinese football clubs have tried to solve this by attracting famous players around the world to join their Chinese Super League. However, it doesn't take Albert Einstein to see that China and the Chinese league doesn't really appeal to footballers who play in top European leagues. Therefore, China has responded by throwing as much money as they literally can at the footballers and their agents to sweeten the deal. And when I talk about money, I'm talking big paychecks which would take anyone's fancy. I mean, 30-year-old Gareth Bale, still in his prime, nearly swapped Real Madrid for China to the tune of £1 million a week. And while Bale's move to Asia didn't quite make it all the way, many well-known players have made the jump to play in China and participate in a league with the same level of quality as a kick around in the local park. And here are some of them. You are watching KYSTAR, and these are famous footballers who went to China. Paulinho to Guangzhou Evergrande for £134,000 a week. Brazilian midfielder Paulinho joined Guangzhou from Tottenham in the summer of 2015 for around £14 million, a pretty average transfer fee. What wasn't average, however, was the money he would earn upon his move to the Chinese club, with an annual salary of £7 million a year being agreed upon ahead of Paulinho's arrival. However, compared to others in this list, Paulinho actually defies basic logic, as he somehow managed to move to China and somehow improve his career after. You see, the Chinese Super League is a league which gives the foreign players literally everything they want, whereas while Paulinho earns £134,000 a week, the Chinese players in that league earn £2 and a free Big Mac meal. A medium, not a large. It looks incredibly inviting to enter, therefore, but once you're in, your reputation takes a hit, and despite all the fun you're having there, you very rarely can climb back out and restore your football at the top level. For Paulinho, however, he got out the other side, and that was represented in a move to Barcelona in 2017, before clearly craving that dollar on offer in China, moving to Guangzhou Evergrande again just 1 year later. This guy literally left Barcelona to move back to China. That's like leaving a 5-star restaurant to eat at McDonald's. But hey, as they say, money talks. Stefan Shaarawy to Shanghai Greenland Shenhua, £346,000 a week. Before I go any further about this move, can we all just take a minute to realise that this former AC Milan wonder kid is still only 26 years of age? That is absolutely mad. It seems like this guy has been around for absolutely ages, but no, Stefan Shaarawy, who is somehow younger than Jesse Lingard, had recently, despite having his best season in a Roma shirt last year, put pen to paper to sign for Shanghai Shenhua for a yearly salary of £18 million, yes, £18 million, earning at least £250,000 a week after tax. Just like the previous example with Paulinho resigning for Guangzhou in 2017, this deal represents the Chinese Super League actually being able to sign great players in the prime of their careers when they could easily be playing elsewhere for the world's biggest clubs. Fair enough, his status as the young sensation who tore up the Italian league from Milan in 2012-13 had somewhat fallen, but nevertheless, this move to China definitely came as a surprise to those who heard of the news. After all, Stefan is literally throwing away the arguably best years of his career to pick up a massive paycheck and play alongside players who wouldn't even make it into the Juventus under-5 squad. However, when £18 million a year is on the table, who bloody wouldn't sign that contract? Admit it, you would as well. Ezekiel Lavezzi, a buy China fortune, £290,000 a week. Now, this move makes a little more sense. Lavezzi, who by 2016 had boasted an impressive career, featuring for clubs such as Napoli and Paris Saint-Germain, was approaching 32 and had just seen his playing time at PSG be more restricted than ever before previously. I imagine after the 15-16 season, Lavezzi sat at home frustrated and annoyed before his phone rang with his agent saying, "Oi, Ezekiel, how would you fancy moving to China this summer and pocketing nearly £300,000 a week?" And despite tearing up Europe in the past with Edson Cavani and featuring for Argentina in the World Cup final of 2014, in the summer 2016, Lavezzi ditched France to play in China, moving to Hebei China fortune and earning a literal fortune for himself. As it stands, the move has proven pretty successful for both parties because, as of recording this in my mum's basement, the Argentine is still at the club. However, although things are going well now, Lavezzi's Chinese adventure was nearly over before it had even started, after, while posing in a Hebei fortune shirt to announce his transfer However, the cameraman taking photos of him had the bright idea of asking Lavezzi to pose while slanting his eyes to impersonate the Chinese. This, as you would expect, went down incredibly badly, with Ezekiel being called a racist and the footballer therefore having to issue a quick apology for the events that occurred. However, as I said previously, things have worked out just fine for Lavezzi. Oscar to Shanghai SIPG for £400,000 a week. This was the move which really made people sit up and take notice of China. Before this, obviously some big players had made the move, like Didier Drogba and Nicolas Anelka, but when a Brazilian midfielder in his prime moved to Shanghai SIPG for a fee of £60 million, baby, now you're talking. The former Chelsea man moved in 2017, where 5 years before that he was classed as the most in-demand young wonder kid in the world game. Every big club wanted the teenager, but in 2012, Oscar signed for Chelsea from Internacional, and there started a long successful career at the top. Well, it seemed that way at the start anyway. The player lifted the Europa League in his first season at the Blues and later on added 2 Premier League titles and a League Cup to his collection. But then, one day, all of a sudden, the call from China came. And it must have been incredibly loud and incredibly tempting for the then 24-year-old, because fast forward to January 2017 and there was Oscar holding the Shanghai SIPG shirt. Forget actually having to challenge for anything, follow me to China and earn £400,000 a week. And be fair to Oscar, he's actually had success in the Super League, winning the league itself in 2018 and the Chinese FA Cup in 2019. I mean, those competitions have as much value to them as a family game of Monopoly, but still, at least he's lifting silverware and earning a ridiculous amount of money whilst doing so. Hulk, Shanghai SIPG, £320,000 a week. It's Shanghai SIPG again on this list. I'd love to know who their owner is, because along with new signing Marko Arnautovic, Oscar and also Hulk at their club, their basic wages combined over £1 million a week for 3 players. But whoever actually owns SIPG, they must have gained an obsession for throwing money about around the time of 2016, as that was the time when Hulk ditched Zenit to earn £320,000 a week in China. Before that, Hulk had also played for Portuguese side Porto and had earned several caps for the Brazilian national side. But once again, when the opportunity came to triple his wages, the location didn't matter and Hulk soon ditched European football in 2016. Once there, however, just like Oscar, Hulk kicked on and actually kept putting effort into his football. And this is shown with his stats for SIPG since he signed, even netting 17 goals in 27 games during the 2017 Chinese Super League campaign. Okay, the standard isn't exactly the Premier League, but considering it's highly unlikely Hulk can even speak a word of the Chinese language or know who half of his teammates are, at least he has managed to fit in on the pitch. Way to go, Hulk! Carlos Tevez, Shanghai Shenhua, £788,000 a week. Tevez has had a history of dodgy transfers, maybe a video we will get to in the future, but this one was a signing which caught the eyes of everyone in football. That was because in 2017, Tevez left Boca Juniors to become the highest paid footballer in the world to sign for Shanghai Shenhua on a weekly salary of, wait for it, £788,000 a week. What makes this signing even funnier, however, is while with Oscar and Hulk they tried to look past the massive paycheck by focusing and working hard in their new country, Carlos Tevez himself has actually gone public to describe his short time in China as a holiday. That's right, while other players describe playing in China as a dream signing, at least we have one footballer who actually had the balls to be honest and to straight up say, yep, I went to China to get paid and get laid. This was shown clearly on the pitch as well, as Tevez was accused of being ridiculously lazy in training and at times being too fat to play football properly. But like Tevez said, he was on holiday and who can really blame him? He picked up his £40 million that year and then simply moved back to Boca Juniors the season after to continue where he left off at his boyhood club with much heavier pockets than before. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this list. Enjoy it? That's great to hear. How about you hit that like button if you feel that way, and also comment below any players you feel I missed out. Also, if you are new around here, then also do not forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications so when more of these videos drop, you'll be ready and waiting. Until then, however, you have been watching KYSTAR, and we'll see you later.